Just stop it. The run-of-the-mill, cheesy, humdrum bullshit status quo just tires me out. What fascinates me are the industry disruptors, the superhuman frontiersmen or women who go through hell to achieve their goals. Join me as we meet and learn from those mavericks, rebels, and business leaders that aren't afraid to piss off the establishment in order to make radical change for good. Sponsored by Johto PR, the disruptive anti-PR firm that murders your competition with cinder blocks and cyanide. This is Disruption Interruption. And here we go. Welcome back, everybody, to Disruption Interruption. I'm your host, KJ, and we're here today to talk to another industry leader that has steered off the lame, tired path of the status quo. All right, so let's have a real conversation about failure. We're told that 80% of businesses fail within a decade, and we act like it's some mysterious act of God. We look at the P&L, we look at the balance sheet, and we say, everything looked fine last month. But honestly, that's a load of BS. Using a financial statement to run a business is like trying to drive a car by looking only in the rearview mirror. By the time the loss shows up on your accountant's desk, the body is already cold. Traditional accounting isn't a diagnostic tool, it's an autopsy. Our guest today is here to stop the post-mortems and start saving business lives. He's spent 25 years on 5 different continents, running operations in everything from chemical distribution to high-stakes logistics. He's seen it all. The $3 million a month company that went bust in 3 years and the sold-out construction projects that ended up in the red. He is disrupting the reactive reporting status quo. He's turning complex, terrifying financial data into plain language assessments that actually tell a business owner if they're thriving or dying today, not last quarter. With a major launch coming, he's on a mission to end the era of preventable business failure. Please welcome to the show the chairman and CEO of Helcyon, Lukas Swid.
Thank you very much. You did a great job.
Thank you. And thank you for giving us such fodder to do that intro. So excited about this. We are really disrupting the age of reactivity and being very proactive in many things. I love to hear this in the finances, especially for small, mid-size, and even enterprise businesses. Lukas, I have a question for you before we get going.
Sure.
In all your travels, in all the continents that you've been around, and all the different industries that you've been around, what has personally led you towards disruptive innovation?
It was the fact that traveling to over 120 countries, 5 continents, 25 years, managed the businesses in many different languages, cultures. And what I've seen is that a lot of small businesses die because they don't have visibility in what is happening behind the numbers. They're driving blindly. One thing is for you to have a business that is successful, as I have, as many of us have, but there are people that we know, we meet along the way that just invest everything they have, their dreams, their time, their families' savings into a business that has 80% of a chance to die. They're brave people. A lot of them, they borrow money and they risk it all and they die. And the reason they die is not always because of the structure, the product. It's mostly because they have absolutely no idea what is breaking in time to do something about it. I've seen it many times. Small businesses die and it's become an epidemic. Okay. And governments, institutions, banks, nobody seems to care about. 80% of the small people that dumps everything they have into a dream goes down the drain. It's an epidemic. And I think it is time for somebody to talk about it, to educate people about it, and to come up with a tool that can help them lessen their probability of losing everything they ever built.
Wow. Well said. Very well said, with tons of conviction. Lukas, when was it a turning point for you where you said, that's it, something's got to be done about it? I'm pissed.
Yeah, well, there were several times. One of the biggest, there were several times that I thought about that. One of the reasons, in addition to what I said, that I wanted to do something like that was I used to spend a lot of time digesting P&Ls. It was part of my life. A P&L, it tells you the bottom line. It doesn't tell you much. It's like going to the doctor and just looking at your symptoms, not what is driving the symptoms. what is causing them. So it was time. It was weeks and weeks, oftentimes, to digest everything, translate everything, and try to find out what was happening, how fast, and what to do about it. And it was consuming my life. The only capital, or the biggest capital that you have, and the only one that matters, is time. You cannot manufacture time. Okay? You may think you have time, but time cannot be replenished.
So
Once it's
what
gone,
was the point where you said, I've had enough of this? There is no more time.
I just didn't want to continue to be spending my weekends instead of being with my dogs, with my husband, reading reports, digesting reports, because that was consuming my life.
Mm.
So this tool is something that enabled me to just very automatically, like magic, have the entire financial reports, data, everything translated, and I just look at them and make decisions. It was to be able to live longer, because the time spent on something that's not worth it, or that you could have done better, is time wasted. And
Thank you for that. What is the status quo right now besides the profit and loss? Where are small businesses hurting the most of not being able to see what's going on?
okay, one of the biggest things that hurt businesses the most, especially small businesses, is that if you don't know where you're going and what is happening along the way, there's no way, you don't have a chance to succeed. You just don't have a chance. So the biggest thing is clarity. You need to know. You need to be informed. You need to know when something is breaking. Not wait until the report comes to you a month later, 2 months later. By that time, the disease is already spreading.
Wow, what are some of the, I guess some of the losses that you've seen like that's unnecessary in the businesses that you've worked with?
The first time that I saw something happen was my own. I was 28 years old, and I had dumped all my savings into a company that I built with a partner. It was a men's clothing line. I liked at that time to work out a lot. I liked fitted shirts, and I couldn't find something that I enjoyed. So I decided to create one. And my partner, who was the person who running the business, because I had a full-time job, he was stealing from me from inventory, right? I
Wow.
had absolutely no idea the inventory was being depleted by him selling to people and putting the money into his pocket. I had no idea. I saw the inventory depleted. I saw the financial report showing the numbers looking good, which he manufactured. But I had no idea that he was pocketing the money, pretty much stealing. If I had had a tool that was able to reconcile everything in real time,
Yeah.
inventory, the depletion, the money coming in, money going out. Because you got to remember that revenue is not just how much you generate, is what is predictably and reliably able to depend upon. If you don't know if your revenue is reliable, is predictable, you really don't know anything. So the revenues that I was seeing on a spreadsheet was a complete lie. So it was a first business, but there were many others. There was this peanut butter.
I'm just really curious, how long did he get away with that?
About 6 months, because
Wow.
the reports that he was giving me, they were flawless. He was an expert in doing that.
Wow, what a shyster.
Didn't have real-time reconciliation between the banking, the inventory, and the sales. And I was very new at this thing. I didn't
Right.
have understanding, so he kept going with it. So if I had a tool like we have today, I would have seen it
You would have seen it in real time.
in real time. Yes,
Okay.
because the what you need today, what a business owner is a small one, big ones, we do have CFOs that watch every number every time they move.
Yeah.
Every signal, every change, CFOs are watching them. But a business owner, you expect it to be the product director, the finance manager, the marketing director, the logistics
Chief
man,
bottle washer.
everything. You
Yes.
don't have the time nor the expertise to be watching everything every time. You don't have someone who is there 24/7 just doing that. So a
Yeah.
system that watches the anomalies, watches what is breaking, what is something that's not supposed to be there. That's what I think business owners need, what I needed, and that's what we built.
Well, I love that. I love that. And I want to hear more about what you built. But before we do that, you were going to mention, and I cut you off, But you were going to mention another instance where you've seen this.
Yes, yes, that was heartbreaking. A young guy built this peanut butter brand everybody loved. He was charismatic. He was great, in camera. He was a great marketing individual, but he didn't understand finances.
Yeah.
He had a lot of revenues. Sales were up all the time. But he was not paying attention to the fact that the cost of acquiring customers were killing him. That he was owing in taxes more than he was keeping to pay the IRS. He continued to believe the business was successful because the revenue was up, everything looked up, and he thought, I'm just fine. But at one time, he was shocked to know that, first of all, his customers were costing too much. He was spending too much money in order to be able to acquire those customers. A lot of
Mm.
the customers that he had were always brand new. There were
Hmm.
no recurring customers enough to just take down the cost of acquiring new ones. And if your business doesn't have the ability to secure recurring customers, it's difficult for you to survive and thrive for too long. You cannot succeed if you have to always be buying new customers all the time. You just don't have a future like that. So he had a lot of money owed in taxes. He was not collecting in order to pay the IRS later. He was not aware of the cost of acquisition. He was not aware of his overall cost of operations because he was solely focused on revenues. That's all he knew. And one day, all the bills piled up. The creditors came knocking at his door, and he had to shut the doors down.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Absolutely heartbreaking. Would you say that your product or your application is best for small businesses, solo entrepreneurs in the small business market?
It is. It is. It was built for small businesses, and small can be relative. Some people call it a $30 million business a year. $30 million revenue business is small.
It's
So
still considered small.
yeah,
Yes.
the definition is it varies. But I
Yeah.
built this tool for people who couldn't afford a CFO, a finance manager, a business analyst, so they can simply get every month the finances already digested in their email. You don't even have to go into a dashboard because we send the whole thing to your email. So I myself don't like dashboards. It's available, but I don't like it. So if you don't have the time or you don't like it, you don't have to go there. You get it on your inbox. So it was built for small businesses. Now, obviously, with the age of AI, traditional accounting is transitioning.
Yes.
Accountants, they're not going to continue to be the old-fashioned accountants because AI does all the books automatically nowadays. It's cheaper, it is faster, oftentimes more accurate. So
Yeah.
accountants are moving to an advisory role. So this tool is also meant for accountants that are moving towards the next generation, the evolution of the accounting profession.
That's really interesting that you say that. So your tool has AI built into it as well,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Tell
yes.
us, I'm so glad you brought that up, but tell us what this tool does, how it really helps the small business, what are the different features of it, and how it actually empowers the accountants that actually help the small businesses too.
Well, today there are lots and lots of tools, softwares that will be able to reconcile a book that can give you structured, compliant books. That is not new. You got QuickBooks, you got Zero, you got a bunch of those. That's not what we do. The pain point for small businesses and even for accountants was the ability to translate all of that into actionable insights in plain
Yeah.
English. If you're a small
So
business,
true, because sometimes you get your profit and loss, and unless you have, you really understand how to read a profit and loss, most business owners don't. It's just they don't understand it.
yeah, so we translate them for you like a doctor translates lab results. So you have it in plain
Good
English
analogy. Yes.
exactly what they mean. So
Yeah.
once you get that P&L every month, you don't know what to do with it. You don't understand all of the drivers behind all the lines. It is intimidating for most people as well. So we solve that for you. We give you an executive summary of everything that's happening with your business. The machine is able to identify anomalies, waste, fraud. If anything out of the ordinary happens, it sends you a text message. So it's a way for you to know without having to have the expertise if you are a small business owner. And if you are an accountant, it's a way for you to move away from the traditional role that AI is already replacing towards becoming an advisor and able to handle a lot of customers because our platform will do the digestion for you. So you have more
Mm.
time either to handle more customers or spend time with your family, depends on your priority, but it does the job that it takes a CFO to do with hours or sometimes days.
Is there anything else like this on the market?
There are many different parts of it in the marketplace. There is nothing like that. There is nothing that gives you everything in one single place. There are many AIs that give you the P&Ls structured. There are AIs that give you the anomalies detection. There are others that will give you the assembling of a report, but there is nothing that does everything for you, so you don't have to be looking for other tools. And also, we are the first company to enable you to not to have to log into a dashboard. You don't
Yeah,
have to
now
go in.
let's talk about that because that in itself, people think, oh, dashboards are so cool, but not everybody does like dashboards, right? And even though email can seem like with all the new tools that we have so antiquated, people still like to operate via email. Tell me why you did that besides your personal preference.
Well, I did a lot of survey. I talked to a lot of business owners. First of all, they're intimidated by the dashboard.
Yeah,
A lot as a learning curve,
it's a
and
learning curve.
nobody really likes a learning curve. You have to try to get to know the platform and understand where to go, what to do, what to click, and there's a pain in the neck. You don't have the time. You do not have that ability to simply spend more time getting to know the machine. It's one more thing to it's just one more thing to learn, and you have enough already. So I did that because of business owners that asked for it. They forget they have a lot of dashboard. They don't even log into it anymore.
Right.
It becomes forgotten. So it becomes a deterrent. I wanted to make sure that you don't have any excuse not to know what's happening with your business. So it is already sent to your email or to your text message is a summary of everything that's found. And it's not just an AI. We actually have a coded, hard coded, programmed platform that detects all of the numbers, all of the anomalies, translates everything itself because AI hallucinates.
Yeah.
AI lies, AI can make up stuff. So the hardcore numbers that it should be exact, it should not vary, it should not be one thing today, something else next month, unless the numbers themselves move around. That part is engineering. The AI layer that we built is simply to assemble the report and do the narrative. It will narrate, it will write it, and send it to the business owners into their emails.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I love how you position Helcyon. Your business finally has a doctor. You read your financials like doctors read labs. And you have an example of findings on your website that I really like. Margin draft detected. Your margins dropped 11%. One vendor is the cause. And it gives the amount, gives the time. It's a really great report. What do you find are your first adopters now? Your biggest first adopters, those that are getting on board early?
Right now, we have 20 accountants beta testing the machine. We went through some issues, but then with the findings, as we worked through them with the accountants, everything has been fixed. As in any new startup, a new platform, you're going to find hiccups, but we already solved them. I have two of my own companies running on it. I have 5 small businesses that are already enjoying it for free just to beta test it. And overall, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. So
Incredible.
the most important thing for me is to see that it is adding value to the people who are investing the time into it. Because again, time is the most valuable asset that you have. So to see that the people who have decided to stop what they're doing to help me test this product, to tell me that they found things that didn't know were happening behind the numbers, that validates what I wanted to do. It makes me very, very happy.
Yes, yes, absolutely. What is the meaning behind Halcyon?
Helcyon is supposed to be with an H, an A, which is the English word, is stability. Calmness is is peace. So when you run a business, you don't have a lot of peace. You have a lot of anxiety. You have days that you don't sleep. And I wanted to give people something that put their minds at ease, that lessen the burden of not knowing. One of the biggest issues in life is when you don't know what you don't know, when you are really in the dark. And when you wonder what is happening here, what is happening there, you don't know where to go, what to do. It's just hell. I've been through it many times for many years. I wanted to create a tool that gave people a little peace of mind by knowing. And then ultimately, as anything in life, once you know, you just have to decide what to do. It's up to you. This is what life is, right? When you don't know, you don't know. And then you can get stressed over it.
True.
But once you know, you just have to decide. Sometimes it's hard to make a decision, but it's up to you.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Very good mic drop moment, Lukas. Lukas, what do you do outside of building Helcyon? Do you have any fun hobbies or things that you do with your husband?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm lacking in that department. I've worked my whole life. I've built a lot of businesses. We watch a lot of we have 4 dogs.
Oh,
They're
wow.
like children, so they take up a lot
Your
of our
furry
time.
friends, yes.
So because he and I, we work a lot, our free time is dining out, movies, some opera, and spending time with the dogs, taking them for longer walks. They are little creatures. They don't live long. So we try to give them the very best that we can.
That's lovely. That's super lovely. How do people get a hold of you, Lukas?
They can go to Helcyon.ai, and we will be thrilled to help. And you don't have to buy anything, but on the site, we have an amazing financial library that can give you a lot of insights on cash flow, business management, risk detection, pretty much anything that you need in order to educate yourself about business. There is also a free download of my book, Before the Flat Line, which I wrote based on my 25 years of experience seeing businesses nearly die, many dead. Okay, but there is a way to prevent that from happening. I wrote that book. There is a free copy for everybody in there.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you.
Lukas, I really applaud you for what you're doing. I think it's great that you were so curious to figure out what was going on after seeing failures and having your own failures and building this. What would you like to leave our listeners with? Food for thought.
Going into business is not an easy thing. It is a difficult process, and it doesn't come without risks. But there is nothing in life that comes without any risk. Not making a decision is not something that can spare you from a bad outcome. So if you're thinking about going into business, go into business, but try to acquire knowledge in any way you can. Don't go too unprepared. You can never be prepared enough, but don't go too unprepared. And don't be lazy when it comes to avoiding reading about the things you need to be informed of. You got to read, you got to consume, you got to watch podcasts like this one. Get information from everywhere you can, any way you can, but go into business prepared as much as possible. Because if you don't do that, unfortunately, your chances of succeeding just become a lot smaller.
Well said. There is always a solution. Just go find it.
Yes.
Thank
Indeed.
you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
That's a wrap, everyone. Thanks for listening to Disruption Interruption with Lukas and me. Go disrupt your markets with a tidbit from the show. And thanks again, where we transform lives, change consumer behavior, we alter economics, right, Lukas?
Exactly.
And we never accept the status quo. Ciao for now.
Fantastic.
Because we live in a highly litigious society, with America being one of the top litigious countries in the world, here's our legal disclaimer. This information is not intended to be a substitute for professional public relations or legal advice. Do not disregard seeking professional, legal, healthcare, or financial advice, or delay seeking professional PR or legal advice because of something you have heard here. Contact an attorney to obtain advice on any particular legal situation or problem. Use of this podcast or our website or any of its social media or email links do not create an agency-client relationship between Johto PR and the user.